Hey, welcome to Cash Furnace. My name's Eric Downs, and with my host, Paulie Kinzerski. Well, how do you say your last name?
Kinzerski.
Say it again. Say it again.
Kinzerski.
Kinzerski. Okay, cool. We'll start it over again.
More complicated spelling than.
It's definitely a mouthful. Hi, welcome to Cash Furnace. My name's Eric Downs, and this is my co-host, Paul Kinzerski. Together, we aim to become your go-to source for daily stock and crypto market news. Today's date is January 18th, 2021. Today is our Sunday podcast, which is just an open, free-form, free-for-all, where we just talk about whatever we want. So let's kick it off. Paulie, what's going on, man? What's new?
Not much, man. Enjoyed my weekend. Nice 3-day weekend. Thanks to MLK. We're gonna have a short trading week this week. I actually wanted to open it up with you because I honestly haven't heard much news over the weekend for stocks that made me think of a position to take even early tomorrow morning. Did you hear anything? Are you thinking anything specifically for this week? Or
I was actually thinking the same thing. I have there are two main things on my watch list for this week. The first one's Apple, because they have earnings coming up. I don't remember exactly when they are, but I actually already have a longer term Apple Play already set up, and I might take a second short term one to ride up any pre-earnings. Well, yeah, to ride any pre-earnings run up. Whoa,
right.
Ethereum, huge spike in the last.
Yes,
sorry,
sir.
I don't want to get distracted. I was looking for Apple, and I noticed a giant vertical dildo coming out of the Ethereum chart. Dude, I'm praying. I'm going to explain this to the listeners. I'm praying I'm not missing this freaking wave, dude. Okay, so Apple, I'll come back to that. But so Apple, where's my watch list? Apple's got earnings. When do they have earnings? When is that? It's coming up on the 27th. Okay, so we have a minute, right? We have a minute. We've got
nice, dude. You just made me pull up. I haven't been watching the markets all day. I've been just busy, but it looks like we broke out of that nice little pennant that was forming, and we're testing.
Are you talking about Bitcoin?
No, I'm talking Ethereum right now.
Yeah, I was
now that you mentioned it.
Yeah. So, well, here, let's come back. I want to come around to that. We talk about Ethereum, man. But
yeah, explain your situation, because you're right on the edge. You're damn near shitting your pants here.
Okay. I'm gonna explain the situation. So basically, for anyone who's been watching the show, Paulie last week convinced me that of the benefits of holding your crypto in an actual exchange via coin, right? Is that good terminology? Is that sensible terminology?
Yeah.
Okay. Now this is as opposed to investing on a platform like Robinhood or PayPal or Square. When you buy Bitcoin on these exchanges or these brokerages, you are actually buying a Bitcoin trust. You're not actually buying the coin itself. Now, from an investment standpoint, this doesn't matter, right? If Bitcoin goes up $1,000, whether you have the coin or the trust, you made 1,000. You didn't make it, but your investment is worth 1,000. Well, that much more.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're just trying to make money. No big deal. Now, as we talked about in last week's show, we were going over some of the other perks to owning the actual coin. One of which that has been largely looming in my mind is like, yeah, if I actually think Bitcoin's going to take over and actually be a dominant traded cryptocurrency, then it is beneficial to actually have it so you can, actually use it. I'm not betting for or against it. To be honest, I don't know enough to speculate as to whether or not it's going to be or a major actual circulated, in use cryptocurrency. Which is why I just wanted to bet through Robinhood using the trust. But Paulie informed me about some other ancillary perks that certain exchanges will give you for holding your coin there and letting them lend it out. Now, for anyone who's not aware of a practice like this, lending out your assets on an exchange is extremely normal. It's an extremely common practice
it's if you keep your money in a bank, that's exactly what they're doing with your money. That's why
exactly
you
that's
get
how
any percent interest.
Correct. That's exactly right. And the same thing for any of our stock, any of our stockholders out there, not our stockholders, but anyone who's, holding stock, a lot of brokerages will offer the same thing. It's not by default, but you can basically opt into margin lending programs where the shares you have that you're holding on to, you're not doing jack shit with, they'll go lend them out to people who are trying to trade and you actually make money on it. So Paulie informed me
in a good percentage as well.
Well, so the one
by
that
today's standards.
Yeah. So the one that Paulie informed me of, BlockFi, I looked it up, will offer 6% interest on Bitcoin, 8% interest on Ethereum. I think that's right, or maybe it was Litecoin, but one of the two. One of the other ones got 8%, and that's respectable. I mean, Bitcoin or all of the major threes recent gains alone, or side rather, 6 to 8% on an investment just sitting around is great, and that's going to beat any bond. That's going to beat any bank account, even any high yield bank account. Hell, that could beat some stocks, some really boring stocks still. So for that reason, having that actual asset now affords me, or affords anyone, an additional benefit. So on Friday, when I woke up at like 5:30, I sold basically about, I would say, 80% of my crypto. Basically half of my Bitcoin and all of my Ethereum and Litecoin. I converted it back to cash and I transferred it out. I set a transfer out to Robinhood. Robinhood gets back to me with a message that says, cool, no problem. It should be in your bank in 3 days. Pretty standard message, except I just realized, oh shit, it's a Friday. Bitcoin's going to continue trading over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And my transfer's not going to go through until 2 or 3 days after the next week starts. And then beyond that, on Sunday, I realized it was it was MLK today. So I've yet another day to wait. Now, luckily, the whole time Bitcoin was tanking or just sort of like in a holding pattern, and it's been consolidating in a picture perfect formation. I mean, this is like oh God, who's a famous geometry math guy? I don't know, Da Vinci.
You're asking the wrong guy. I have no idea.
You know who would be proud is Pythagoras. Pythagoras would be proud looking at this Bitcoin formation. The consolidation is damn near textbook. And well, all I'm doing is just sitting here waiting like, dude, please, Bitcoin, just don't move. Don't move until I can get my money to BlockFi and reinvest it over at BlockFi. But okay, so for anyone who doesn't know what I mean when I say consolidation, basically, as many of you may have heard, Bitcoin shot up, whoop, and then it pulled back a pretty fair amount, then it goes up and it goes up. So as the price becomes less volatile and like the peaks and valleys become less extreme, that's what's referred to as a consolidation. And a lot of times that indicates that all of the, how do I say, the hyperactive, excited trading money is sort of started, all is dying down. The price is starting to stabilize. And more often than not, when that stabilization reaches a certain point is when we're going to see our next big move, our next big breakout. It could be up or down, but that's typically when we see a big breakout. And man, if we are damn close to that tiny little consolidation point, and I still have like 2 to 3 days to wait to get this transfer over. So I'll keep you guys updated as we go along. I'm just praying that I don't miss the boat, that I don't miss the boat, man. So that's basically,
I think you're going to be okay, man.
You think so? I mean, I know you're looking at this chart. Like, do you think it'll last another 2 to 3 days? I mean, I know you can't predict it, but like, I'm
don't
looking
know,
at
man. That's a great
hard.
question. So we're forming a huge pennant, right?
Yeah, it's
And
yeah.
it's a matter of, will we break out of it? And it could be quite, because it's a very wide ranging pennant. It could be, let's see here. Let me draw a few lines. Actually, let me record my screen at least so we get the viewers to see what we're talking about. Could you enable my screen share there?
Hey, anytime. One of these days I'll be a pro. Here we go. Go for it.
All right. So, oh God, I wasn't expecting to start drawing there, but we'll start. So this is obviously a very long, this is from the 6th, right?
Yeah.
All the way to, I don't even know what we're looking here, 25th. We continue this guy moving forward. You see, we have a decent amount of time. We could have 4 days before we even longer, before we even wind up breaking through this pennant. So you could get lucky here, man. I mean,
and listen,
you might have played it perfectly without even knowing.
It's gonna blow my mind if the day that money lands in BlockFi is at the last time we hit that lower support trend. I'm gonna flip out, dude. I'm gonna lose my mind. Man, I might have to celebrate.
Watch it be like the hour later too.
Oh God. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated on the pod. Of course, remember we do this every single day except for Saturday, and I guess this past Sunday. But we do this nearly every single day. So for everyone following along, I'll keep you informed.
5 out of 7 days minimum.
5. That's all right. At least 5 days a week. That's our slogan. Other than that, I'm looking, Paulie, like I said, I'm looking at Apple, but the other big one I'm looking at, and I know it, is Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
I love it.
Do you have in any chance, can you bring up a Facebook chart?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you so much.
Facebook Inc. Let's do this.
So Facebook,
all right.
Facebook has been been slowly bleeding out over the last few months. Check out this chart, okay? So we're looking at what's this time period that we've got on the hour long, and this is probably the
we're from right about the 2nd of December is we haven't seen a high since.
Exactly.
And that was right around 291.
Right. Now, what's interesting though, if you check it out, is that just as of last Friday, we hit a very important support point. If you scroll back a little bit, just a little, or zoom out a little bit, I should say.
Well, let me do the daily here. Make it a bit easier for everyone to see.
Yeah. So if you check it out, the last major support was around 244.41, if I remember correctly. If you zoom out just a little, one more, Paulie.
Zoom out.
It'll show you the last. Yeah, zoom out, and then to the left a little bit.
Because this is 14th.
Right. I want to go back and show them the last time.
I see. Yes.
So on Friday, right here, you see,
right.
Yep, that low
on
point.
September. Yep.
Right, and that was actually based off of its last support where it gapped up on 2 earnings calls ago. It gapped up, ran up, faded back down, bounced up off of that support that it established when it gapped up. Slowly climbed, and then it's starting to bleed off. But man, I'll tell you what, I was watching Facebook like a hawk. I told you guys I'm watching Facebook all day on Friday, and the second it hit that exact point, which again, I think it was 244.41 or something close to that of that last
244.47.
Okay. Damn, I was off by 6 cents. As soon as it hit that point, not a penny lower, it immediately rebounded. Now, Now here's the thing, for our viewers following along, this might look really appealing to you. It might sound really appealing to you the way we're talking about it. And who knows, it might be really appealing. what I think, what I'm going to be looking for in particular, from first of all, from a technical standpoint, is I'm going to be looking for essentially its our volume and momentum to turn around. That's number one.
Yep.
Because right now, all of our volume is sending our momentum downward. All of our volume is negative. All of our volume is red. And
However, the volume is decoupled from the price range, right? So we've been increasing volume while the price has been falling. And typically that's signaling a reversal.
Right. Yes. That's a very good point.
Right.
I'm glad you brought that. Yeah. So basically what we want to see here is going to monitor that volume. And as soon as that sell volume really starts to die down and cross over, it tends to be a bit of a lagging indicator, as they call it. That is, it happens a little later than the actual reversal, but it tends to be a strong confirmation. That's what I'm going to be looking for to get into a long position. It might be a swing up, at which point, like, I might enter a position, and then when it hits a certain technical point, I'll probably sell half of it and then let the other half ride or something along those lines. But that's the big thing we're going to be looking for. On top of it, I wonder, when does Biden go into office? What day?
I'm not sure.
You know what? Let's
Politics,
find out.
I don't follow him much.
This isn't the politics furnace. When does Biden take office? Wednesday, the 20th. So the other thing that I'm going to be sort of keeping an eye out for is I actually don't know why Facebook's been selling off. I know there's a lot of speculation. We've had plenty of antitrust suits. Obviously the whole thing with like banning Trump and all these. I don't know how much these are really affecting the stock price. The antitrust suits probably people, jumping ship in fear that the government, breaks up Instagram and Facebook and things like that. Maybe that's what it is. The other major thing I'm going to be looking for is some sort of strong catalyst that's going to change the environment in which Facebook operates and sort of act like a page turn or a new leaf that tells the public via some sort of dumbass headline that it's okay, that Facebook's okay again.
I know what I'm thinking with this, because I've been so bullish on Facebook because they're releasing Diem. Is that what you're kind of insinuating here?
Well, I don't know that I can go so specific as to say that, because if I'm being honest, and actually I would love to get your input on this, Paulie. Do you think it's too early to release Diem, or is it the perfect time because of the giant crypto run happening?
I think point number 2 is exactly what's needed. I think secretly what they're hoping for, because now this is obviously all speculation, but I've told the group many times, as Eric knows, that I believe within the year we will have a US backed stablecoin, and not just backed by the US dollar arbitrarily, federally backed. Just because there's a million different factors as to why they would utilize a system like that. I'm thinking Diem now. I think they're trying to get in and get a foothold before the US federal coin comes in.
I see.
I think Facebook wants to become the biggest bank in the world in a couple months due to all their users.
In a couple months?
Bro,
you mean within a couple months now, or over the course of a couple months?
Over the course of a couple months. Yes.
Okay.
And by doing so, all they have to do is incentivize every single user on Facebook, which there are billions, right? With a B.
Yep.
Facebook users, Instagram users. They say, okay, if you use Diem, you now get 10% off of all advertising on our platforms. If you use Diem, we will
free shipping,
incentivize marketplace
Yep.
free shipping.
Dude,
You
can
can
you
only
imagine?
utilize marketplace with DM. Like the adoption would be incredible and so fast, and all of a sudden they would have so much money stored on their systems. It
Well,
would be mind-boggling.
I think about it sort of within the sort of how do I say, the zoomed in look on the e-commerce space, because right now Facebook isn't really in the e-commerce space. You know,
No.
they kind of like they're like on the fringe of it, sort of, and they're definitely opening up their services to cater to that space. They're leaning heavily into Instagram shops, Facebook shops. And I know this because my business is, they pound our business asking us to set them up, and we did. It hasn't done anything yet. But I know that, like, imagine if you could shop online at your favorite company, you know, your favorite shoe brand or whatever it is, and know that you could get, you know, 1 day shipping free if you use
Oh
Deal.
yeah.
I'm not saying that's what it
Yep.
is, but I say 1 day free shipping because that's going to compete with
Well,
who.
and then that's exactly what I was going to say. All of a sudden, they've cut into Amazon's market share.
Yeah, but the wild thing about them, now I don't know that they would do this. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, obviously Amazon's ability to, you know, support Prime is due to the massive infrastructure they've built, the massive warehouse network, all of their own essentially privatized delivery network. They're moving into
100%. Yep.
right. Now, Facebook, I don't know if they could do that, right? I know eBay's closest competitor is fast and free shipping, which I believe is like 2 to 3 days, which is, it's funny, by today's standards is like not that special. Um,
Yep.
but that's only because they don't have a centralized or coordinated fulfillment network of items. So Facebook doesn't have that either. Right now, they're all still peer to peer. It would definitely take a big chop into like the e-commerce space and incentivize a lot of people to do their purchasing through Facebook. But for them to be able to compete on a service by service basis with Amazon is going to take it something new. And I don't know how they would do that, because
that's a very good point. Because and it's not as something as simple as writing a clever line of code. You need buildings, you need people, you need trainings, you need, like you said, entire infrastructure systems, networks built out across the country, which Amazon is just absolutely exploding.
I mean,
with, right?
Amazon's
We
literally
had
a
just in
decade
my
ahead.
area. Yeah, agreed. But I could also see them being very clever and partnering with one of the dying shipping companies right now,
Oh,
UPS, USPS,
uh-huh.
maybe even the United States Postal Service, if they become the US backed coin,
Oh.
and then like utilizing that infrastructure in order to make their deliveries, which is already built out and would essentially save the USPS, because the federal government is paying out shitloads of money right now
Yeah.
because people at USPS get paid a lot of money, a surprising amount of money
Really?
to deliver some mail.
I mean,
Yes.
I guess I
Yes.
don't
If
think
you
I'm that.
drive a truck, it's minimum 80 a year.
Wow.
At least in
Just
Connecticut.
driving a
I
truck.
am.
Woo. Yeah. You know, I will say, you know, I you know what? I won't say. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I know there's like a lot of like, I don't know. There's a lot of, I don't know if there's even a lot, but there's headlines every once in a while about how much money the USPS loses every year. It's funny
Mhm.
because, like, if you think about it as a business, yeah, it's horrible. But if you think about it as a service, which it is, which is designed
Yeah.
to lose money, like, it's
Yep.
fine. It's completely fine.
Right.
But you're I really like where your head's at, because I think that I think that between the major delivery companies, mainly the top three, right? USPS, UPS, and FedEx.
Mm-hmm.
I think something is going to get changed. I think someone is going to get bought. Someone's going to get pushed out. Someone's going to merge with something, because I don't like, I use all these companies a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I see what they do. I see how they operate, and I see the problems with all of them. I see the problems, not just personal problems, like my own gripes with them, but I see the problems like on forums and what issues that people have with each of these different companies. I see the pros and cons of all of them, and I feel like they're just one. How do I say this? It's just going to take one clever player to snipe off one of their cons and hit them in their weak spot to take them down. That might be a bit dramatic, but you know what? That makes great TV. So I'm going to leave it. But
yeah, no, I think it's super interesting, and I cannot wait. And I will continue to buy Facebook, even though I've been at a loss. I think my average cost now is $268. So it's pretty far below where I initially started buying in, but I will continue to buy them at
I
these
agree.
rates, because I think they're going to be, by the end of the year, the biggest fucking bank in the world, which is wild to say.
I'm ready to start now that it hit this major level that I've been waiting for. Like, I'm ready to join you, Paulie. And for our listeners, if you don't necessarily understand why Paulie says, or why we both are bullish on Facebook, just take one thing into consideration. Whether you understand the technicality of how the business works or not, I think we can all agree that data is king, right? Data is the king of our lives right now, 100%. Whether or not you know it, half your life is run by an algorithm. And I'm not just talking about the YouTube ones that you should help us pump up by hitting the like button down below. Everything you see, every website you go to, or damn near all of them, have an algorithm that is determining what you see on the internet. Whether you're on Google, Amazon, Netflix, it doesn't matter. And because all of these companies know everything they can about you in order to serve you ads. And who has?
And it's funny you mentioned this, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So it's funny you mentioned this, because I was just listening the other day to a podcast, and it has to do. It's called Hidden Brain. It has to do with psychology and whatnot. Yep. And it was talking about how people view advertisements on the internet, on TV, on their phones. And I believe it was over 70% of people replied that advertisements did not sway them in any sort of way, but they could see why it sways other people. And the exact flip was who actually gets swayed. So 70% of people who don't think they're getting swayed are actually getting swayed. And only like 30% of the population don't actually buy off of advertisements on Instagram, on TV, and everything. So even if you guys don't think data matters, I can almost guarantee you it matters, and it's changing how you behave.
It probably matters to you specifically. You're probably in that 70%. Chances are you're in that 70%.
Exactly. More likely than not.
So because data is king, and we all know how much data Facebook and Instagram collect about us, whoever holds the most data holds the most power. Whoever holds the most power holds the most money. I don't know what the order is, but those things are all related, and yeah, who has the biggest user base of all the major companies? You know what? The truth.
Who knows every ounce about you, where you live, how old you are, who your friends are, who your closest friends are, and what you like to look at.
Because you volunteered that information. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, the truth is, I actually don't know who has the largest daily active user base, but I know who has the most engaged active user base. And that's Facebook and Instagram. Because you could say like, oh, I know 40 billion users use Google every day. Well, that might be true, but they're not engaging with other people and sort of sharing information, thoughts, feelings, opinions on an active basis. You don't share your opinion on a pair of shoes with your Gmail account, but you definitely
Mhm.
might send it to one. You might definitely DM it to one of your friends, and don't think
Yep.
that Facebook and Instagram don't know that. Now,
Yep.
bear in mind, people, I know that there are a lot of people out there who hear something like that or know that and just like immediately want to double check that the camera on their laptop is covered up, that their profile picture doesn't have anything risky in it. Look, maybe these companies are evil and they want to take over your life and they want to plant a chip in your brain and control you. But to be honest with you, I don't think that's the case. But
No, I think they're providing their service better because they have data on you,
yeah,
right?
I mean, there are many, I'm sure.
As for your business, have you seen increased traffic from the ads you put on Facebook versus Google?
Yes, there's no question. In fact, fun fact, we get my business gets the majority of its traffic from Facebook. And you want to know something that makes that even more interesting? We don't advertise on Facebook. That's just where our freaking users live. I know that seems
Wow,
weird,
I
right?
didn't know that. Yeah.
I run Google ads for my business and Google converts, right? We get the searches, we get the clicks, we get the click through, we get the visits, and it works. That turns visitors into customers. But when I look down at the breakdown of our visitor stats and their sources, Facebook is always number one, and I've never run an ad on it in my life. It's just because
wow.
and I look deeper into it, that's where the users are. A lot of the users of my product
Yeah.
are in forums about sound, AV, audio production, and they're just talking to each other. They're just asking each other, what do you do about this problem? What product do you use? Do you guys like this product? What do I use to solve this problem? And my product gets shared on these forums. It doesn't happen on Instagram because it's not a forum platform. It doesn't happen on Google because there's no one to talk to on Google. On Facebook, the users are interacting and actively referencing the product. And I don't advertise.
So my question is, why haven't you yet?
Because I haven't felt the need to.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, the reason I'm advertising on Google is mainly because I'm battling another company. Like, I've basically done as much SEO tuning to my website that I'm capable of. And I'm basically trying to win the battle on that front. Put it to you this way. Actually, here's why. I don't have any competition on Facebook. So I don't need to advertise to someone when I'm not ousting someone for the first place position, for the pole position. On Google, I have some competition. So I want to advertise, so I make sure that I'm visible as early as possible.
It just makes me wonder. It makes me wonder, even if you did a trial of a week, right?
Yep.
And you use a 10th of your budget. If you're getting that much traffic, maybe you'd get that much more. I don't know.
Well, okay. Let me backtrack real quick. I think I technically lied. As I say all this stuff, I do remember actually about maybe a year ago, I did advertise once on Facebook. Because it was so long ago, I actually forgot. But I do remember now the results of that advertisement. And it was a bunch of likes. We got a bunch of likes.
Okay, fair.
It was cool. That's great.
Okay.
And it was a bunch of people who don't follow the page, who don't like the page. It's great. I know it was exposure to a new audience, but our conversions didn't change. So from a pure name recognition standpoint, it worked. But from an actual conversion standpoint of like, hey, buy our product, it works. Didn't do anything. So anyway,
maybe that exposes a bit of a flaw in our theory then, right? So maybe even though they have the best data, maybe right now they're not capitalizing in the best way to the right people that would buy your product. I know your product is very niche, but
I don't know. I think what's important is that they just have the most comprehensive data. Because remember, if you haven't heard this expression already, it's a truth that we all must know and live with for the rest of our lives. If the product is free, Polly, you know the end, a
Mhm.
second after this, go ahead. If the product is free,
I don't.
oh, you don't?
It's too good to be true.
Polly, if the product is free, you are the product.
Ah, I do know
Facebook,
that one. Yes.
Facebook is free. How do they pay? How do they keep the lights on at Facebook? How do they pay all the little programmer nerds? You know, by selling your data and by selling advertising space on Facebook. You all know it. You all see the ads. Now, here's the thing: is that so bad when it's offering a platform that allows you to connect and educate and engage in the way that you do with Facebook? My argument is that no, it's not. You know, it's just like saying you know, this isn't a perfect link. Well, it's just like paying taxes, honestly. It's like saying, look, I want government services. I want roads to drive on. I want clean water to drink. I'll pay taxes. Right? It's like saying,
Right. And
well,
if
look,
I hated it so much, I'd move.
right. Exactly, exactly. And in Facebook land, that means I want to be able to see like my friends' photos and talk to grandma, you know, twice a year when she sends me some dumb link that I saw for the fifth time ever 5 years ago. And the price I pay is I will look at ads that are tailored for me, which I don't actually think is a bad thing. I don't mind. I'd rather see an ad for a razor than a box of diapers. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Yeah,
So,
completely.
so I don't, for that reason, I'm of the position that like Facebook is not evil. I genuinely don't think Facebook's trying to do anything wrong. I think they're trying to expand and further human interaction into the future, and they fund it through advertising. And I
I think
don't
that's
think that
fair.
that's I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I would agree.
Dude,
I completely agree.
I just talked for like 10 minutes straight, man. You take over.
It's no, it's all good. I was actually gonna say it's pretty late my time, and I think that's a good way to end a pretty open debate slash discussion that we've been having.
Debate.
Where like
Ollie, have
these
you and I ever
not debate discussion, but I don't know. I feel like it's a good way for those of you that don't really think in these kind of sense and like make these wild connections and like stay up to date on news and stuff. I think it's just a good sort of brain practice to try some theories, because I think there's often times where your theories could be correct, and all of a sudden you see a connection that wasn't there from a news article that you read, and all of a sudden all the stars align and you get in before everybody else finds out that information that you wound up connecting. But
Yeah.
I
So
think
we are not financial advisors. These aren't stock tips. But if you make a lot of money on Facebook, let us know in the comments, baby.
yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. All right, man.
All right, guys.
I will see you.
This has been yet another installation of the Cash Furnace. Again, we are your at least 5 days a week installment of the latest stock, crypto, and trading news. We aim to be your number one source. So tune in, subscribe below, like, comment, share it, run this algorithm up, and help us buy Teslas. All right, we'll see you next
Let's
time.
make some money, baby.
Bye.
Peace out.